Don Knotts is a name synonymous with comedy, particularly his unforgettable role as Barney Fife on The Andy Griffith Show. His stammering delivery, wide-eyed expressions, and boundless energy made him a beloved character, turning awkwardness into a comedic art form. Audiences laughed, but behind the scenes, Don's life was far more complex. His daughter, Karen Knotts, now 71, has chosen to reveal the deeper truths about her father's life, offering a candid view of the man behind the iconic role. Karen's revelations paint a portrait of a man who faced personal struggles that even fame could not heal. Her story is not to diminish his memory but to complete it, showing that behind the lovable deputy was a fragile soul living with deep-seated anxiety and a history marked by hardship. A childhood shaped by loss and struggle. Jesse Donald Knotts, born in 1924 in Morgantown, West Virginia, grew up in a home filled with uncertainty. His father, William Jesse Knotts, struggled with personal issues that created an unpredictable and often unstable environment for young Don. His mother, Elsie Lucetta, was 40 when he was born, adding to the already strained family dynamic. The Knotts family wasn't close-knit, and Don, the youngest of 4 brothers, often felt isolated. His bond with his brother Sid, who was known for his sense of humor, was particularly strong. Sid's sudden death from an asthma attack left a lasting scar on Don, his first real encounter with loss. This tragedy shaped his outlook on life and fueled his need for humor as both an escape and a connection to others. Finding comfort in comedy, the birth of a comic persona. As a child, Don found solace in imagination, often retreating into his own world where he could escape the turmoil of his home life. He created a dummy named Danny, which became both a companion and a comedic partner. Through Danny, Don began experimenting with humor, developing the early roots of his talent. In school, his classmates elected him class president, drawn to his charm and wit, though Don still felt like an outsider. His nervousness and anxiety were always present, but he soon realized that humor could mask his inner fears and help him connect with others. This realization would become a central theme in his life, as comedy turned into his shield and stage became his refuge. Serving in the Army, the power of nervous energy. Don's career trajectory was anything but smooth, and after his first failed attempt at show business in New York, he enlisted in the U.S. Army during World War II. However, rather than facing the battlefield, Don's assignment was in entertainment, serving in the 6,817 Special Services Battalion. He traveled across the Pacific with the Stars and Gripes variety show, entertaining soldiers during their downtime. It was here that Don discovered the power of his nervous energy. The soldiers, under immense stress and fear, saw something of themselves in Don's jittery, bug-eyed antics, and they loved him for it. This experience helped Don refine his comedic style, and when he returned from the war, he carried with him a newfound sense of purpose and stage presence. Building a career, from struggles to small victories. After returning home from the war, Don attended West Virginia University, studying education and speech. But it was his love for performance that ultimately led him to New York City in 1949, with just $100 in his pocket and his wife Catherine by his side. The journey was far from easy. Casting directors often found him too awkward for leading roles, so he spent years doing radio gigs and small roles. It wasn't until the mid-1950s, when he was cast on The Steve Allen Show, that Don's unique nervous energy found its place in the public eye. His role as jittery, bug-eyed characters in comedic sketches earned him the affection of audiences, and he began to gain recognition for the very traits that had once been considered liabilities: personal struggles, a lonely home life. Behind the laughter, though Don was adored by millions, his home life was far from the picture-perfect image many might have imagined. His daughter, Karen, later revealed that life with her father was often difficult. Don's relentless anxiety and dependence on medication to cope with his nerves made family life turbulent. The man who could make millions laugh often returned home drained and silent. Karen recalled the contrast between the public image of Barney Fife and the private man her father was. While his career was flourishing, Don's personal demons, anxiety, loneliness, and exhaustion, continued to take a toll on his family, and eventually, his marriage to Catherine ended in divorce after 13 years. A shift in career and the struggles that followed. By the mid-1960s, Don Knotts' career began to experience new challenges. After 5 successful years on The Andy Griffith Show, Don made the decision to leave the show, believing it would soon come to an end. He signed a movie deal with Universal Pictures in hopes of stepping out of Barney Fife's shadow. While films like The Incredible Mr. Limpet and The Reluctant Astronaut allowed him to headline, Don's attempt to transition to a leading man failed to replicate the magic of Mayberry. The public continued to love him, but only in the role of the nervous sidekick. His 1969 film The Love God was a box office flop, further denting Don's confidence and making him question his place in the industry. The decline of confidence and the strain of fame. As Don's film career struggled, so did his personal life. His ongoing battle with anxiety worsened, and the pressure to maintain the energetic, nervous persona that had won over audiences began to take its toll. Doctors had prescribed medication to help him cope, but it became a crutch that only deepened his emotional isolation. Karen later revealed that the characters Don portrayed were more than just performances. They were an extension of the fears and anxieties he lived with. Fame had not brought the happiness or peace Don had hoped for. Instead, it magnified his vulnerabilities and left him feeling more disconnected from those around him. Late career and personal struggles. By the 1970s, Don attempted to reinvent himself with the Don Knotts Show, but the variety show was canceled within a year due to low ratings. Though he continued to work steadily with guest appearances on shows like Three's Company, Don's career was no longer what it once was. He was now filling supporting roles rather than headlining projects, and the industry's appetite for his brand of humor seemed to be waning. Meanwhile, his personal life continued to unravel. His second marriage to Laura Lee Sakna ended in 1983, and Don faced another personal crisis when he was diagnosed with macular degeneration. The thought of losing his vision, which had been so essential to his work as a performer, left him devastated. This diagnosis, along with his declining health, marked the beginning of a difficult chapter in his life. A final love and a quiet farewell. In 1987, Don found unexpected love with actress Frances Yarbrough, who worked with him on What a Country. Though there was an age difference between them, their relationship blossomed into something real. They married in 2002, bringing Don the stability and companionship he had long yearned for. But by then his health had begun to fail. In the late 1990s, Don was diagnosed with lung cancer, a result of his lifelong smoking. Though he continued to perform and maintain his sense of humor even as his health deteriorated, the disease eventually claimed him. He passed away in 2006 at the age of 81, surrounded by family. Despite his illness, Don's legacy was never about his fame, but the laughter he gave to the world. Karen's final tribute, unveiling the full story. Karen Knotts, Don's daughter, released a memoir titled Tied Up in Knots, where she finally shared the full story of her father's life. Through her words, she revealed the private pain Don carried, the childhood trauma, the anxiety that never left him, and the loneliness that came with fame. She wanted to honor her father, not to tarnish his image, but to show the world the full complexity of the man behind the laughter. Don Knotts, the man who made millions laugh, carried with him a heavy burden, one that he rarely shared with the world. His legacy is not just in his iconic roles, but in the courage he displayed even in the face of private struggles.